So welcome back to another one of my videos. So today's video I'm going to be reading to you Rainbow Magic Crystal the Snow Fairy. I'm only going to be reading chapter 1 to chapter 2 for you guys. So yeah, and this is from the Weather Fairy section and it's number 8 of Rainbow Magic. So without further ado, I'm going to start reading it. Crystal the Snow Fairy. There's just the map. So we've got Fairyland Palace, Sweet Factory, Budbury Village, Mud Hole, Jack Frost Ice Castle, Miss Fulham's Cottage. Here, we've got the High Street, Kirsty's house, the museum. So yeah. Isn't it a lovely day, Mum? Kirsty, Tate said happily, as she gazed out of the car window at the blue sky and sunshine. Do you think it will stay like this all through the summer holidays? Miss Tate laughed. Well, let's hope so, she said. Remember, what's the weather like on Rainsbow? She said, remember what the weather was like on Rainsbow Island? It was always changing. Kirsty smiled to herself. She and her parents had been to Rainsfell Island on holiday in the last school break. Kirsty had made a new friend, Rachel Walker, there, and the two girls now shared a very special secret. They had helped the 7 rainbow fairies get back to Fairyland after Jack Frost had cast a nasty spell to banish them. Could Rachel come and stay with us, please, Mum? Kirsty suggested. As they drew up outside their cottage, the Tates lived in Weatherbury, a pretty village in the middle of the countryside. So, if you didn't see that picture before, it was just... That's Kirsty. Could Rachel come and stay with us, please, Mum? Kirsty just drew up. That's a really good idea, Miss Tate agreed. Now, let's take the shopping indoors. Okay, Kirsty said, getting out of the car. Where's Dad got to? Hello, I'm up here. Kirsty glanced up, shading her eyes against the sun to the left of the house. Was an old wooden barn. Mr. Tate was standing at the top of the ladder holding a hammer. I'm just repairing the roof, he explained. It's been leaking. Oh dear, said Miss Tate, opening the car boot. She handed 2 of the shopping bags to Kirsty. You must do something about the barn. It's falling down. I like it, Kirsty replied. Suddenly, she jumped as something cold and wet landed on her nose. Oh no, she explained. I think it's raining. Then she stared at the white flakes which had landed on her pink shirt. It's not rain, she gasped. It's snow. Snow, Mrs. Tate looked shocked. In summer? It can't be. But it was snowing. In a flash, the sky had turned grey and snowflakes were tumbling down. Quick, Kirsty, go indoors, called Mrs. Tate, picking up the rest of the shopping and closing the car boot. Mr. Tate was already climbed down from the lawn. They all rushed inside as snow swirled around them. This is very strange, said Mrs. Tate, frowning. I wonder how long it will last. Kirsty glanced out the window. Mum, Dad, the snow stops, she cried. Mr. and Mrs. Tate joined Kirsty out the window. The sun was shining and the sky was blue. A few puddles of water were all that remained of the sudden snowstorm. Well, said Mrs. Tate, how extraordinary. It's almost like magic. Kirsty's heart began to thump. Could there be magic in the air? But why should there be? She and Rachel had found the rainbow fairies and Jack Frost had promised not to harm them again. Everything was fine in Fairyland now, wasn't it? You better go. Sorry, guys. You better go and change out of that wet shirt, Kirsty, said her mum. Kirsty turned away from the window. As she did so, she spotted something standing on the kitchen table. It was a rusty old metal weather vane in the shape of a cockerel. What's that? She asked. I found it in the park this morning, her father said. It would look like a grate on top of the barn when I finished fixing the roof. Kirsty reached out a hand towards the weather vane. As she did so, the metal glowed and glittering. Sparkles danced towards her fingers. Kirsty blinked in surprise. When she looked again, the sparkles had vanished. All she could see was rusty metal once more. Feeling puzzled, Kirsty ran upstairs to change. Had she imagined the sparkles? The snow was really, though. She was sure of that. I'll ring Rachel after lunch, she thought. Maybe she'll be noticing strange things too. Kirsty hurried into her bedroom. There on the shelf above her bed sat the snow dome the fairies had given her. It was a very special thank you for helping the Rainbow Fairies. And Rachel had one just the same. It was full of glittering fairy dust in all the colours of the rainbow. When the snow dome was shaken up, the dust swirled and sparkled. But right now, no one was shaking the snow dome, and yet the fairy dust was whirling around inside the glass. Kirsty forgot about her wet shirt and stared at the sparkling snowstorm. She could hardly believe her eyes. It must be magic, she told herself. She dashed across the room and grabbed the glass dome, but with the gasp of pain she dropped it straight away. The snow dome was so hot it had burnt her fingers. As the dome fell, it struck the edge of the shelf and shattered. Oh no, Kirsty exclaimed. She had broken her beautiful gift. Sparkling fairy dust flew into the air and floated down around her, but now something else was happening. Kirsty was shrinking. It was just like before when she and Rachel had become fairy-sized and visit Fairyland. Now she was tiny all over again. She twisted round to look over her shoulder. There weren't her fairy books, delicate and glittering. Maybe the fairies want me to fly to Fairyland to see them. Kirsty said to herself, but I don't know the way. Drifting around her. Suddenly a strong breeze swept in through the open window. It picked up the fairy dust, whipped in a whirlwind of glitter and spark. Next moment, the whirlwind lifted Kirsty gently in the air and carried her out the window. Okay, so that's chapter 1. I'm going to read chapter 2. I'm just going to see how long it is first. Okay, I'm going to read chapter 2. Because it's actually not that many pages. Trouble in Fairyland. Kirsty was whisked through the sky. In a haze of colourful fairy dust, she flew over the rivers, mountains, woods and houses, passing fluffy white clouds on the way. Soon she saw the red and white toadstools houses of Fairyland below her. There was the river winding its way past the green hills. The water glittered like diamonds in the golden sunshine. The whirlwind was bringing Kirsty down, now, close to the silver fairy palace with its pretty pink towers. Kirsty could see King Oberon and Queen Titania waiting for her, with a group of fairies, and next to the Queen was someone Kirsty knew very well, Rachel. Called Kirsty. Rachel rushed over as Kirsty landed gently on the grass. I came the same way you did, Rachel explained excitedly, giving Kirsty a hug. My snow dome broke, and the fairy dust brought me here. Sorry. Do you know why? Asked Kirsty. Rachel shook her head as the Queen and the fairies joined them. It's wonderful to see you both, beamed Queen Titania, but I'm afraid we need your help again. She added, looking anxious. I hope you don't mind us bringing you here like this, King Oberon put in. Of course not, Kirsty said eagerly. What's happened? The Queen sighed. I'm afraid that Jack Frost is up to his old tricks again. Rachel looked shocked. But he promised not to harm the Rainbow Fairies anymore, she said, glancing up at the sky with a shiver. The sun had disappeared, and it was suddenly cold. Yes, Queen Titania replied. Unfortunately, he promised not to harm our weather fairies. And she waved her hand at the 7 fairies standing around her. You mean this strange weather is all because of Jack Frost? Asked Kirsty, as sunshine blazed through the grey clouds once more. The Queen nodded. Doodle, our weather vane cockerel, is in charge of Fairyland weather, she explained. Doodle's tail is made up of 7 beautiful feathers. Each feather controls one kind of weather. Every morning, Doodle decides on the best weather for every part of Fairyland. The King went on. Then he gives each weather fairy the correct feather, and off they go to do their weather work. Rachel and Kirsty were listening hard. Come with us, said the Queen. We'll show you what happened. The King and Queen led Rachel and Kirsty into the palace gardens and over to the golden pool. The Queen scattered some fairy dust onto the water, which began to fizz and bubble. After a moment it grew still and clear, and a picture began to appear on the surface. It showed a handsome cockerel with a magnificent tail and red, gold and copper feathers. That's Doodle, the Queen explained. Yesterday morning he planned the weather for Fairyland as he always does. Rachel and Kirsty